G'day guys, Adam Cogan here at Ignite on the Gold Coast, and I am speaking to Hamish Watson. How are you, Hamish?
I'm good, mate.
You're from New Zealand, right?
Sure am.
And which city in New Zealand?
Christchurch.
We're going to talk about DevOps in the workplace.
Yeah, mate.
And how long have you been thinking about the term DevOps?
Well, I've been thinking about it for about sort of 5 years, but in actual fact, I came to the realisation I'd been doing it for a lot longer with the company that I work at.
Right.
And it was that realisation that I was doing DevOps principles as part of my day-to-day job that I finally put a label against it. Now,
Right.
I could have said that I did managed services for want of a better term. Do you know what I mean?
Okay. Now, you came from the SQL side of things.
Yes.
And so we put you in the sysadmin bucket rather than the developer bucket, right?
Yeah, that's primarily where I reside. I'm operations manager, so I'm sort of further over towards the database side than
Right.
say, the app side.
Okay, awesome. And what are the key things for good DevOps?
Some of the key things are actually things we as IT people don't like talking about. Communicating, collaborating, and having something called culture. And as soon as you say those things, most people want to run a mile. But it's also about tools, because we love tools, right?
We do.
We want to make stuff go. And so my definition of what DevOps was for myself, my company, and even our clients was about making stuff go. Making things automated and reliable as we released code and apps into production.
Okay. Can I drill into that automated part?
Yeah, sure, mate.
What tools do you use to deploy a website?
Okay, so at the beginning, one of the fundamental things is using source control, right? So we're developing a Visual Studio, we've got to have source control. And so out there's so many tools you can use. Team Foundation Server has its own repository for our source.
Yes.
There's things like Git, Bitbucket. So we get it up in source, that's only a quarter of the story. We've got to do continuous integration. So Team Foundation Server, Visual Studio Team Services, and a few other tools like Team City,
Right.
Jenkins. But, do our automated tests, check the code, and build our artifact. We're only halfway there.
Do you use Visual Studio Team Systems Release Manager?
Yes, so that's the next bit.
Right.
So we've done our builds, we now need to release.
Yep.
And so VSTS and TFS have a release manager built into them. And the really good thing about it is it's a homogeneous view, right? You don't have to interface into another utility or what have you. And so they then do our automated deploys to our build environments, our QA environments, moving up to, say, to UAT staging right up to prod. Yeah.
Have you used Octopus as well?
I sure do, mate.
Can you tell me the pros and cons of both?
Okay, I am a big Octopus guy.
Yep.
Octopus Deploy was a bit of a game changer for us because we'd done all the CI stuff, right? We'd got our artifacts, but then we had manual deployment processes. And Octopus Deploy allowed us to do two things. One, have those automated deploys, and two, have a central repository of variables. This meant that all our variables are in one place and are being deployed automatically. There's no human hands touching our web.config or our app.config. And that was really a game changer for us, because by having those variables in one place, developers and operations people collaborated on what the variables were for our standardized environments as we led up to production.
And with Release Manager, like
Same. Yeah,
same similar thing.
absolutely.
But what are the pros and cons of it? Which one, which things do you like in Octopus more than Release Manager and vice versa?
Okay, so with Octopus Deploy, one of the things I do like about it is that it has a lot of community library templates that you can go out there and get, because people have already done, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. And also the fact that their mission is we do one thing and one thing well. We, deploy applications. So they've really focused on that part. With Release Manager, we also use that as well within VSTS and TFS. And I like that as well in certain situations for deploying to Azure and again, that homogeneous view, right, for our deployment teams, because they're in TFS doing the builds, the unit test, the automated tests and what have you. Well, they're using the same app, so it's a bit of this, bit of that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And do you know that Octopus comes from up here in Queensland?
I sure do, mate.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah, up in Brisbane. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're a SQL guy.
Yep.
It's not just about deploying websites. What about the back end? What's your preference for getting? Do you deploy all the schema changes automatically?
Yes, we do. And what we do is, again, we use source control for everything. Every single thing that touches our database,
yes,
our apps, and even our servers is stored up in source control. And
are you talking about like incremental scripts? Every
correct.
schema change is a new script?
It is. And so we use SQL Server data tools for our changes. It means that any changes made on our systems, again, are automated. And so that's through the use of DACPACs, which effectively have a model of our database. The good thing about that is we have a consistent environment all the way through up to prod. So we don't get any, surprises when you deploy to prod.
And what do you prefer, a DACPAC and just manual scripts and say code first with any framework?
Okay, so there should never be a manual script. So that's my least favourite.
Okay.
And I have a philosophy that I am almost pedantic about, that there are no out-of-process changes. If there is a change, we start at the beginning and roll through the deployment process. I think of things like code first, entity framework, ORMs, versus DACPACs, SSDT. It's kind of like Ford versus Holden here in Australia. They both have their uses. If you like to visit your mechanic a lot, you're going to use a Ford. I'm a Holden man, by the way.
Right.
But look, ORMs have their place.
I'm a Tesla man.
Nice one. ORMs have their place,
yep,
right? And a lot of companies that have, again, that code-first approach, and the database is really just a data store,
yep,
then sure, go for an ORM. But if you have a heavy-hitting big system, I definitely would be going with SQL Server data tools, personally.
So what do you do when you have like specific things you want? Let's just say we change a data type and there's existing data, you need to make the new field, yep, move the data in, change the data, clean it up,
yep,
rename the field back, or you want to put an index on a specific field,
mm-hmm,
any of that specific stuff.
Okay, so you're going to be doing that on your local machine, probably connecting to hopefully a database that is a mirror of production. You're going to generate your DACPAC, and you may have pre-deploy scripts and post-deploy scripts that are all variabilized, right? And so you then wrap that up into the DACPAC and deploy it out. So you'll put it up into source first, mm-hmm, go through continuous integration, and then release it out.
Okay.
Again, small iterative changes where possible. I live in the real world.
Yep.
And we roll them through our deployment pipeline.
All right. So Hamish, I want to ask you about reliability. What things fall down? What things give you the most pain? I was really impressed. You're a sysadmin guy.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of sysadmins I meet can't use Git at all.
Right.
Like actually find it really painful and don't even want to use it. But what types of things stop the reliability of this automated system working?
You and I, humans. So what I do, I'm an ops guy. I send all my staff on a development course for a week, right, or a week or more. So they learn how to code as a developer, so that they then talk to the developer. And I get developers to come over and work in my team for a period to see what we do. Because we have a common goal, right? A reliable deploy of our software. And if that reliability falls down when we stop communicating and collaborating and lose sight of our goal. And our goal is to deliver maximum value to our clients because they pay us.
Mm.
So the unreliability comes from us losing sight. And I'm a guy, so when I first started this journey, I set up a desk in a development team. And I used to sit there for a day a week and used to go to every stand-up. And I think they got where I was coming from because they made the changes I asked so that I'd stop talking.
So Hamish, I've never actually heard of that. So you actually get your sysadmins to learn how to do some basic coding.
Correct. And they all changes go up into source. All operational scripts, either PowerShell, even good old command, batch files, all up into source, and we practice a little bit of agility.
Wow.
Yeah,
All right,
mate.
so that might lead me on to the final point, which would be culture. And I think I've just worked it out what you might be saying. You're fixing sysadmins to think more like programmers, and that solves our problem, which is what I always kind of inferred anyway.
Yeah, pretty much. It's a partnership, right? This isn't about developers suddenly becoming ops people.
Right. No, that's
it's, again, a partnership of all the teams, even the testers.
But isn't a lot of the problem the fact that sysadmins have different goals than programmers? Programmers just want to build stuff and deploy it.
Yep.
Sysadmin guys, they want stuff that's stable. And they don't want calls in the middle of the night.
Yes.
How do you fix that culture problem?
Again, I go back to the goal because it's a power struggle, right?
Right.
And so again, it's around having that shared vision, right? And you know what? It's got to be reliable in prod. I'm not saying it's reliable all the way through. Our dev system might break continuously, right? While we work on it together. Because the server config might be a bit wrong. So we're going to use infrastructure as code, configuration management to fix those together. We're going to have a issue ticket that we both work on, and there's no throwing over the wall. There's working on it together. So yeah, as things, by removing that idea that, you know, I've never met a dev who wants to write bad code. Right. But most bad ops people say, oh yeah, they write crap code. But we're humans, right? People do write something that doesn't work initially, but catch it early in our deployment pipeline, right? It's called the shift left principle. We'll fail lots in continuous integration, and we'll celebrate lots in prod. And I can't find many people that don't want to celebrate lots in prod, you know? A boring deploy that we know is just going to work and no one's up at 3 a.m, that's the goal, mate.
So what's shift left mean?
Shift left means that all of our environments, say build, dev, functional test, QA, are prod-like. They're the same schemas, they're the same structure as our production system. So that when we deploy to them early on in the piece, we're going to capture things because they are all the same. Sure, production might be a 1 terabyte database with 15 services that do 20,000 emails a day. Our dev database might be 50 megabytes. The key thing here is it's exactly the same structure and setup as prod.
Right.
So again, we'll find the issues really early in the piece so that again, when we deploy to prod, there's no surprises and we're not up during the night. You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great way to finish. Thank you, Hamish.
No worries.
And
Pleasure.
this is Adam Kogan signing off for SSW TV.